There are places on Earth so beautiful that the boundary between reality and imagination seems to disappear completely. Villages cling to cliff faces, ancient glaciers are still moving, and there are worlds where time seems to pass more slowly than anywhere else. At first glance, they all look like impossible paradises. But the deeper you venture into these landscapes, the most unbelievable stories begin to emerge. On Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula, the ground is opening in a way rarely seen anywhere on the planet. Long black fissures stretch across lava fields, where fire and rock continually reshape the landscape. Simply standing still, you can feel that the Earth has never truly stopped moving. That change sometimes unfolds faster than people can imagine. On November 10, 2023, a magma dike about 9.3 miles long formed beneath the ground in just 8 hours, equivalent to the distance from the Statue of Liberty to the northern edge of Central Park in New York City. Even for geologists, such a rate is rarely observed. With each eruptive cycle, Reykjanes acquires new traces of its ongoing activity. Fissure systems stretching for dozens of miles cut across ancient lava fields, forming symmetrical grabens interspersed with cinder cones created when lava meets water. The entire landscape reflects a planetary crust that is still being continually renewed. The atmosphere can change from calm in an instant as the smell of sulfur spreads across the land and tremors cause objects inside homes to shift on their own. Every movement at the surface originates from the magma system that continues to expand quietly beneath people's feet. Beneath this seemingly quiet land lies a magma system powerful enough to tear open the ground in just a few hours, making human stability seem remarkably fragile. And what scientists have just discovered beneath these rocks makes the story even harder to believe. There are places where every geological survey raises even more questions. The elusive ice fjord in Greenland preserves ice layers dating back 250,000 years, reaching depths of up to 5,000 feet, far beyond those of a typical glacial bay such as Glacier Bay in Alaska. Streams of fractured ice pour into the fjord, forming turquoise ice castles as tall as the Empire State Building. Standing before them, you feel as though you are witnessing an ancient force that has never stopped moving. Beneath the stillness lies a colossal ice engine that has never truly rested. Cermak advances nearly 130 feet each day, carrying more than 8.4 cubic miles of ice into the ocean every year, nearly 1/10 of Greenland's total annual ice loss. Each ice layer, up to 2 miles thick, preserves a climate record from long before humans built the first pyramids. Yet what is even more remarkable lies within that very harshness. At the bottom of the fjord, where temperatures remain below 35 degrees Fahrenheit, Greenland halibut cannot reproduce, forcing their bodies to reabsorb their own eggs in order to survive. It is hard to believe that just 2.3 million years ago, this place was covered by vast green forests. Humanity has only just begun to read the traces preserved within the ice. In 1871, Carl Fleischer discovered 4,500-year-old stone tools at Kajah. Not long afterward, Fridtjof Nansen completed the first crossing of the Greenland ice sheet, opening an entirely new perspective on the glacial world. The thunder of breaking ice echoes across the fjord like earthquakes. Each year, more than 22 billion tons of ice plunge into the sea, as though an ancient force still possesses the power to break the ocean itself. Some places do not merely preserve Earth's past, they reveal the power of nature that continues to shape its future. From above the Negev Desert, a colossal depression appears among bands of red and golden rock, as though the land itself had once been torn apart. This is Maktesh Ramon, the world's largest erosion crater, stretching nearly 25 miles and often called the Grand Canyon of Israel. Standing at its rim, you feel as though you are looking into a scar left behind by time itself. At first glance, many people believe Maktesh Ramon is the remnant of a meteorite impact or an ancient volcanic crater. In reality, it is a rare erosional landform known as a Maktesh, found only in the Negev Desert and the Sinai Peninsula. Beneath its basin, which reaches depths of 1,600 feet, rock layers 220 million years old still preserve the earliest chapters of the planet's geological history. For this reason, NASA has used the site as a landscape analog for studying terrain reminiscent of Tatooine. Millions of years of erosion have shaped not only the rocks but life itself. Fossilized ammonite walls, towering igneous dikes, and the phenomenon of topographic inversion coexist within this rare landscape. Following a reintroduction program in 1983, the onager once again appeared across this desert, while subsequent surveys recorded at least 10 species of bats living among its cliffs. Human history has also become part of the story of this ancient land. Astronaut Elon Ramon chose Ramon as his surname to express his love for this place. After the Space Shuttle Columbia disaster in 2003, a memorial was built atop Ramon, quietly overlooking the basin that has witnessed millions of years of Earth's history. From orbit, Maktesh Ramon was once mistaken for the scar of a meteorite impact, yet the entire basin was shaped solely by millions of years of relentless erosion. From orbit, Maktesh Ramon was once mistaken for the remnant of a meteorite impact, but the truth is even more extraordinary. Time itself carved this colossal scar into the heart of the desert. Some natural wonders are born not from catastrophe, but from millions of years of Earth's own patience. Hidden among Kazakhstan's Tian Shan Mountains, Lake Kandy lies at an elevation nearly equal to that of Lake Tahoe, yet it presents an entirely different appearance. Beneath its icy turquoise waters, an entire spruce forest still stands exactly where it once grew, as though it had never realized it had been submerged beneath the lake for more than a century. At an elevation of about 6,600 feet, the water temperature rarely rises above 43 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the year. That extreme cold has preserved the spruce trunks almost perfectly for more than 130 years, turning the lake bed into a natural archive of time. Lake Kandy was formed after a powerful earthquake created fault ruptures stretching up to 110 miles, completely transforming the landscape. For decades, it was believed that the submerged forest appeared after the 1911 earthquake, but recent tree-ring studies tell a different story. The spruce tree stopped growing in 1888, indicating that the forest was submerged immediately after the 1889 Chillik earthquake. Those silent growth rings preserved the answer for more than a century. Today, that story is still not over. The natural dam that created Lake Kandy is also a structure that geologists continue to monitor closely. Any major change here could affect thousands of people living downstream. These emerald waters have not only buried a forest, but also preserved the memory of an earthquake that continues to shape human lives to this day. And there are still other places where nature continues to preserve history in ways no one could have imagined. Here is the faithful English translation, preserving the original meaning without adding or omitting any content. At the summit of Mount Nemrut in Turkey, rising higher than Mount Washington in the northeastern United States, colossal stone heads have silently overlooked the valley for more than 2 millennia. Every sunrise here begins with a mystery that remains unsolved. Standing at an elevation of about 7,100 feet, Mount Nemrut is where King Antiochus I commissioned his monumental tomb complex in 62 BC. At its center stands a stone mound 160 feet high and nearly 500 feet wide, roughly comparable in height to the statue itself of the Statue of Liberty. Surrounding it are statues reaching up to 30 feet tall, towering like 3-story buildings. Stone heads separated from their bodies, Greek art blended with Persian traditions, and the lion horoscope relief depicting a map of the planets make this place resemble a monument dedicated to both the heavens and the earth. Yet the enormous mound of loose stones continues to refuse to reveal what lies beneath it. For more than a century, ground-penetrating radar and modern geophysical methods have been repeatedly used in the search for the burial chamber of Antiochus I. But every excavation has quickly been filled by sliding loose stones, as though the mountain itself were protecting its secret. 2,000 years have passed, yet the heart of Mount Nemrut remains beyond humanity's reach, despite every technology brought to this place. Perhaps the greatest value of Mount Nemrut lies not in what has been uncovered, but in what still remains beneath the stones. Amid the deserts of northwestern Saudi Arabia, Hijra emerges like a stone city preserved by sand for thousands of years. Red sandstone formations stand isolated across the vast landscape, evoking the familiar scenery of the national parks of Utah and Arizona, yet carrying an entirely different story. Across an area of more than 5 square miles, sandstone formations that took shape around 500 million years ago became the foundation of one of the world's largest rock-cut necropolises. Rising prominently from the desert is Qasr al-Farid, a tomb about 72 feet tall, carved directly from the top to the base of an isolated rock outcrop, a technique that continues to attract particular interest from archaeologists. Yet the story of Hijra does not end with the monuments already known. In 2014, heavy rains shifted the sand dunes, revealing an intact tomb that had never before been documented. Following that discovery, more than 25,000 inscriptions in 10 languages were gradually digitized, step by step reconstructing 3 millennia of trade and cultural exchange at the ancient oasis. Even today, Hijra exists between 2 worlds. Legends of the Thamud tribe stand alongside Hijaz railway stations that have been restored as heritage resorts, where the past and the present coexist within the same desert landscape. Every major rainfall has the potential to change what humanity knows about Hijra, because beneath the sand still lie chapters of history that have never been read. At Higra, the desert does not merely preserve the past, it continues to reveal it in its own patient way. Amid the limestone mountains of Croatia, the Glava spring resembles a giant eye quietly watching the world. Its deep blue surface is so still that few would believe one of Europe's most mysterious karst shafts lies beneath it. Known as the Eye of the Earth, the Glava spring is so deep that divers have reached approximately 510 feet without finding its final bottom. That depth is nearly equal to the height of the Washington Monument, enough to submerge the entire landmark into the sinkhole while its top would still not reach the bottom. Seen from above, its dark blue center resembles the pupil of a giant eye, surrounded by softly swirling emerald bands. Beneath water ranging from 39 to 46 degrees Fahrenheit, rare calcified red algae coat rocks and snail shells with shades of pink and purple, creating a scene that resembles a coral reef within a river. What few people realize is that this ecosystem nearly disappeared when reservoirs and hydroelectric power plants reduced nearly 90% of its natural flow. Only after years of restoration did life gradually return to these ancient waters. Beneath the deep blue beauty of the Eye of the Earth still lies an abyss that no one has yet reached, where nature continues to guard its secrets. And ahead lie other places where what once seemed understood continues to reveal even more mysteries. Cattle draped in ceremonial robes still appear vividly across the granite walls, as though they had been painted only yesterday. In reality, those brushstrokes have endured for 5,500 years at La Skeel, amid the semi-desert landscape of Somaliland. Standing before them, the distance between the present and prehistory almost disappears. La Skeel consists of 10 natural rock shelters, preserving one of the oldest collections of rock art in the Horn of Africa. What astonishes archaeologists is not only its age, but also the way its colors have endured through thousands of years beneath the natural protection of the overhanging rock. Although local people had known of the site for a very long time, the world only truly took notice after the 2002 survey. Images of domesticated aurochs, giraffes, and ancient domestic dogs opened an entirely new perspective on prehistoric life, belief systems, and the history of herding in East Africa. The human figures in the paintings always stand with their arms outstretched toward cattle draped in ceremonial robes and adorned with elaborate decorated breastplates. It was this exceptional value that led to the entire site being documented with 3D laser scanning in 2013, preserving every detail for future generations. The paintings of cattle wearing ceremonial robes still shine with vivid colors after 5,000 years of solitude beneath the rock shelters. Their beauty continues to defy the relentless erosion of time. Amid the silent desert, La Skeel continues to quietly tell the story of a civilization that never truly disappeared. At first glance, they resemble thousands of enormous haystacks freshly gathered from the fields rather than a geological wonder. The dry season blankets the hills in a perfect dark brown, making each cone stand out across the flat plain as though deliberately arranged. Amid the humid heat of the tropics, the scene feels both familiar and so unbelievable that every explanation seems too simple. More than 1,200 symmetrical conical hills spread across over 20 square miles, each rising between 130 and 400 feet. They were carved from ancient coral reefs that were lifted from the seafloor millions of years ago. Erosional notches at the base of the hills have created remarkably sharp outlines rarely seen in nature. Hidden beneath the surface is a complex network of karst caves and underground waterways that sustain the entire core region. It is also home to the tarsia, measuring only a few inches in length, with eyes larger than its brain and the ability to rotate its head nearly halfway around. In 1997, the Chocolate Hills were designated a National Geological Monument of the Philippines. While local communities continue to depend on water from the limestone aquifers to sustain their rice fields, preserving this unique landscape has become a challenge spanning generations. What is difficult to believe is that this entire landscape once lay beneath the ocean. The hills seen today are simply the remaining fragments of a vast coral reef that time lifted above sea level. Beneath these silent hills, the ancient ocean seems not yet to have finished telling its story. Whenever the tide rises, the entire temple seems to separate from the mainland and drift upon the ocean. Perched atop a wave-washed rock, its Hindu shrine appears like a solitary silhouette against the sunset, where the sound of the waves and spiritual stillness exist side by side. Built in the 16th century, Tanah Lot stands on a rock outcrop just about 100 feet from the shore. The walk from the entrance through the marketplace to the sea stretches nearly 1,000 feet, equivalent to 3 American football fields placed end to end, while the temple's history is more than twice as old as the United States itself. Few people realize that more than 1/3 of the rock foundation seen today is actually artificial rock, skillfully disguised following a reinforcement project in the 1980s. Beneath the base of the islet, flooded sea caves remain home to black and white sea snakes, which the Balinese revere as sacred guardians. Today, engineers continue reinforcing the islet against ocean waves and rising sea levels, carrying forward the legacy of the priest Dang Hyang Nirartha, who transformed this offshore rock into one of Bali's most sacred sanctuaries. More than 1/3 of this sacred rocky islet is actually artificial rock, concealed with remarkable skill. That secret has changed the way the world views what once seemed to be an eternal symbol. Amid the endless rhythm of the waves, Tanah Lot continues to preserve the fragile boundary between the power of nature and human faith. Hidden along Italy's Adriatic coast, the San Felice Arch rises from a limestone cliff about the height of a 6-story building in Manhattan. The white rock embraces the turquoise sea, creating the impression that the mainland is still reaching out into the ocean. The first thing that deceives the eye is the age of the arch itself. This famous opening is not as ancient as it appears. In fact, it only began forming about 1.6 million years ago, while the surrounding limestone dates back between 140 and 97 million years, when dinosaurs still ruled North America. Below, a small beach about 330 feet long rests quietly at the foot of the cliff. The closer you look, the more the cliff reveals stories that are even older. Geological folds known as slumps preserve the traces of landslides that once occurred on the floor of an ancient sea. Dark bands of flint lie between the white limestone layers, while Aleppo pine forests blanket the cliff tops, creating three colors rarely seen together along a Mediterranean coastline. Even the forest above tells a story of renewal. After the major wildfire of 2007, Aleppo pines regenerated naturally without replanting, with thousands of young trees emerging on every acre. Not far away, a 16th century watchtower still quietly faces the sea. Once it watched for pirates, today it watches boats arriving to see the famous stone arch. The paradox is that the very waves that created the arch are also erasing it, day by day. One day, the rock roof will collapse, leaving only a solitary sea stack standing in the water. Standing beneath San Felice is a moment of witnessing nature both creating and quietly bringing its own creation to an end. Amid the harsh highlands of Bolivia lies a place where the boundary between sky and earth almost disappears. At first, Salar de Uyuni appears as a vast white salt desert stretching all the way to the horizon. No trees, no shade, only light reflecting from an ancient salt crust covering more than 10,000 square kilometers, creating a landscape that feels more like a distant planet than Earth. But the real wonder emerges when the rainy season arrives. A thin layer of water spreads across the entire salt flat, transforming it into the largest natural mirror on the planet. The sky above is reflected perfectly below, erasing the horizon and making the whole world seem suspended among the clouds. From a distance, vehicles appear to be floating through the air. People walk across the endless mirror as if they are moving through the sky itself. In the quietest moments, the sense of distance, direction, and even reality begins to blur. As the sun sets, shades of orange and red spread across the immense reflective surface, turning all of Salar de Uyuni into a glowing world suspended in silence. And amid that ancient sea of salt, humanity becomes nothing more than tiny figures standing where the sky and the earth seem to have become one. The most mysterious places on Earth are not beyond humanity's sight. They are simply waiting for the right person to discover them. Perched high on the slopes of the Swiss Alps is a village that seems to float between the mountains and the sky. From its snow-covered houses, the towering peaks of Eiger, Monch, and Jungfrau rise in full view before the eye. Wengen is built on a rock terrace approximately 4,180 feet above sea level. But what makes it truly distinctive is its position nearly 1,300 feet above the floor of the Lauterbrunnen Valley. Standing at the edge of the village feels much like looking down from the top of the Empire State Building to the streets below. Yet Wengen's history was not shaped by elevation alone. In the early 1920s, Arnold Lund looked upon the slopes surrounding the village and transformed them into the stage for an entirely new idea. The first slalom races were held here, laying the foundation for modern alpine skiing. Today, on the very mountainsides that witnessed that history, athletes race downhill at speeds approaching 100 miles per hour, turning the natural terrain of the Alps into one of the most spectacular challenges in the world. Amid the seemingly motionless peaks of the Alps, Wengen has witnessed high-speed competitions, years of war, and the stories that made a small village far greater than its place on the map would suggest. Nestled among the peaks of the Swiss Alps, Ben appears to be nothing more than a peaceful mountain village. But beneath its green meadows lies a story that began deep within the earth millions of years ago. Crossing into the valley via the Lama suspension bridge, the walkway sways with every step while the roar of water echoes endlessly from the deep gorge below. Yet only minutes later, those sounds gradually give way to an unusual silence, as if the entire valley were preserving something from long before humans ever arrived. That tranquility conceals an extraordinary geological history. For generations, scientists have been drawn to the crystals found along these mountain slopes, because they do not belong to the surface world. They were formed deep within the rock layers beneath the ancient Alps. Subsequent surveys continued to reveal new surprises. Hundreds of mineral species have been recorded in Ben, including many that were described by science for the first time. Meanwhile, centuries-old wooden barns still stand quietly upon stone pillars, serving as witnesses to the passage of time across countless generations. What makes Ben remarkable is not its alpine scenery. Beneath the village lie materials that once rested miles deep within the planet, now exposed at the surface. Some places do not tell their stories through words, but through layers of time that still exist all around us. On a sunlit terrace in the Alps, an ancient stone village seems forgotten by time. Yet behind its peaceful appearance stand colossal granite walls that have dominated the horizon for centuries. Rising directly above Solyo, his battle reaches 12,950 feet like a natural stone fortress. Its north ridge is so massive that it is often compared to El Capitan of the Alps, with a scale equivalent to 4 cathedral peaks stacked together. From a distance, the sharp granite cliffs appear like giants standing guard over the entire valley. Yet the oldest thing here is not the mountain. At the foot of Battle lies the largest chestnut forest in Europe, brought by the Romans more than 2,000 years ago. Those trees continue to grow today, casting their shade over cobbled pathways and 16th century stone houses. As night falls, the sound of rockfalls echoes from distant mountain slopes. Amid the scent of roasted chestnuts and wild herbs, Solyo feels like a place where time never truly left. Beneath the shadow of those granite giants, a solitary feat was born. In 1952, Hermann Buhl cycled 100 miles, climbed Battle, and returned in a single effort. Perhaps Solyo does not leave people in awe because of its beauty, but because of the feeling that time is still present there. High above Switzerland's Verzasca Valley, a tiny cluster of stone houses clings to a mountainside nearly 1,850 feet above the valley floor. Koripo exists like a fragment of the past, where the number of residents is smaller than that of a sports team. From a distance, Koripo looks more like part of the mountain than a village. Its stone roofs are packed tightly together along the steep slope, quietly holding their ground at an elevation equivalent to 9 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of one another. By 2019, only 9 people remained living among the narrow lanes that had witnessed centuries pass. As the population continued to decline, Koripo's future seemed to be drawing to a close. Instead of building something new, the villagers chose to transform the historic houses into a unique hotel, allowing visitors to step into the very life that once existed here. But the greatest change did not come from the guests. After decades of silence, a sound that had long disappeared from the village finally had a chance to return. This village, more than 800 years old, recently welcomed a small miracle. In 2022, the cry of a newborn named Ernesto echoed through Koripo, ending more than 50 years without any children living in the village. Among the ancient stone walls, the future of Koripo may have just spoken for the very first time. Hidden deep within the valleys of the Swiss Alps lies Bergen, a small village that once sparked worldwide curiosity because of an unbelievable decision. But to understand that secret, the journey must begin in the skies above a dramatic gorge. The route into Bergen passes over the Landwasser Viaduct, where bright red trains appear suspended in midair before plunging directly into a cliff face. This limestone structure stands 213 feet above the valley and curves along a radius of just 330 feet, as if it were built to challenge every limit of engineering. Even more astonishing, in 1902, the bridge standing as tall as a 20-story building was completed with almost no scaffolding above the abyss below. But the bridge is only the opening chapter. Around Bergen, the landscape stretches from valleys at 2,440 feet above sea level to mountain peaks rising beyond 11,000 feet. Even today, scientists continue to record new insect species and biological data, as if these mountains still hold stories yet to be told. Yet the strangest thing about Bergen is found neither on its peaks nor on its bridge. In 2017, the villagers famously voted to ban tourists from taking photographs of their village. And perhaps Bergen's greatest secret was never its bridge or its mountains, but the way it makes people long to see it with their own eyes. What happens when an ancient canyon creates its own microclimate? In Switzerland's Jura Mountains, Creux du Van opens like a colossal stone amphitheater, where geology and life have together written an extraordinary story. From the rim, Creux du Van appears as a vast arc of rock sculpted by time over millions of years. Its sheer cliffs surround a basin more than 1,640 feet deep, creating a dramatic landscape that has earned it the nickname, the Grand Canyon of Switzerland. But its greatest secret lies beneath the forest canopy. Beneath layers of loose rock, a natural ventilation system keeps the air cold throughout the year, creating rare pockets of permanent ice at unusually low elevations. This unique environment has helped ibex and lynx return to the region. Humans have left their own mark as well. During the years when absinthe was prohibited, local residents secretly hid bottles of the spirit beside cold streams deep within the remote forest. What is truly remarkable is that Creux du Van is not shaped only by ancient geology. Even now, beneath the invisible layers of rock debris, a natural climate engine continues to operate, quietly sustaining a different world within the same mountain. Perhaps the rarest wonders are not those that reshape the landscape, but those that silently alter the very rules of nature itself. Some canyons take tens of millions of years to form. But at Ruinalta in Switzerland, time seems to have accelerated. After a colossal geological disaster, the Rhine carved a spectacular canyon at a pace that is almost hard to believe. Towering white cliffs plunge nearly 1,300 feet down to the Rhine River below. What makes this landscape remarkable is not its size, but the speed of its creation. While the Grand Canyon took roughly 40 million years to form, Ruinalta emerged in only about 10,000 years following the Flims rockslide, one of the largest landslides on Earth that still leaves a clearly visible mark on the landscape today. But the Rhine is not merely a story of rock and time. After decades of decline, native species have begun returning to the river. At the same time, non-native organisms now quietly dominate much of the ecosystem beneath the surface, turning the canyon into an environment that is constantly changing despite its seemingly unchanging appearance. Ruinalta therefore feels less like a geological relic and more like a landscape that is still being rewritten. What is truly astonishing is that most of Ruinalta was not shaped over tens of millions of years. It is the result of a geological catastrophe and relentless erosion that unfolded in only about 10,000 years. Amid the stillness of the Alps, Ruinalta is a reminder that nature can sometimes change the world far faster than we imagine. Gimmelwald seems to hang between the cliffs of the Lauterbrunnen Valley, 4,500 feet above sea level. But what makes this place remarkable is not its elevation. More puzzling is how such a small community has continued to survive here for nearly 7 centuries. Even from a distance, Gimmelwald feels as though it belongs to another era. Dark wooden houses cling to steep mountainsides, while far below lies a deep valley where towering cliffs and massive waterfalls shape the entire landscape. Everything suggests a place too isolated to sustain life across generations. Yet that is exactly what happened. The villagers still graze livestock on alpine slopes, harvest hay for the winter, and maintain a way of life that existed long before tourism arrived. Through wars, industrialization, and the upheavals of the modern world, Gimmelwald has preserved its identity amid the surrounding mountains. What is remarkable is that this isolation never caused the community to disappear. Instead, it became the very reason they were able to preserve their way of life to this day. Perhaps the rarest thing about Gimmelwald is not its altitude or its scenery. It is the fact that this village still proves that lasting survival sometimes begins with not changing too much. At an elevation of 5,400 feet, Mürren clings to a narrow rock terrace in the Alps as if defying gravity itself. dark wooden chalets face the peaks of Eiger, Monch, and Jungfrau, while the silence of this place raises a difficult question to answer. The most intriguing thing is not Mürren's elevation, but the fact that a community has continued to exist on this mountainside for centuries. It is the highest year-round inhabited settlement in the canton of Bern, situated on a rock terrace created by the tectonic forces that shaped the Alps some 20 to 40 million years ago. Its isolation once left it almost disconnected from the world below, but in December 2024, the new Schilthornbahn cableway changed that. With a record-breaking maximum gradient of 159.4%, the system climbs mountain slopes that many once believed were beyond the reach of modern engineering. Since the 13th century, the Walser people have chosen to remain here. Near the village, Mürrenbach Falls plunges 1,370 feet over 5 cascades, while the annual Inferno race challenges athletes across 9.3 miles with a vertical descent of 7,100 feet through the dramatic alpine landscape. While many villages have surrendered to difficult terrain, Mürren has witnessed the opposite, a record-breaking cableway conquering a 159.4% gradient once considered impossible. Mürren did not conquer nature, it learned how to live alongside it. Discover more extraordinary places beyond the ordinary. Amid the peaks of the Swiss Alps, Eveline appears as a peaceful village surrounded by towering mountain slopes. But above this valley, a fracture zone once stretched as wide as 2.5 miles at an elevation of nearly 10,000 feet. Today, visitors to Eveline are often drawn to its alpine meadows, traditional wooden houses, and breathtaking mountain scenery. Yet beneath the tranquil landscape lie traces of the natural forces that have helped shape this region across generations. In 1999, an avalanche was triggered from an area covering more than 1.2 square miles on the mountainside above the village. As it descended approximately 5,200 feet, the mass of snow did not move as a single body. Instead, it split into enormous flowing streams, weaving through mountain gullies before pouring into the valley below. That event changed the way local residents viewed their environment. More than 2 decades later, Eveline continues to serve as a testing ground for advanced monitoring technologies. Since 2023, radar systems have been capable of tracking snow movement from distances exceeding 3.4 miles, helping scientists better understand what is happening on the slopes of the Alps. What makes Eveline remarkable is not only the beauty of the Alps, it is also the place where a disaster once claimed 12 lives and prompted Switzerland to rethink how mountain communities are protected. In Eveline, the beauty and power of nature exist side by side, creating one of the most memorable stories in the Alps. Here is the English translation. keeping the meaning as close to the original as possible and without adding or removing content. Hidden within a quiet alpine forest lies a lake so small that it could easily be overlooked on a map. Yet through its crystal-clear blue waters, tree trunks resting deep beneath the surface remain visible as if time had never passed. Blazy covers only about 1.6 acres and reaches a depth of nearly 39 feet, making it only slightly larger than a standard American football field. The lake sits within terrain formed by an ancient landslide, and its waters are so clear that visitors standing on the shore can see every ancient tree trunk resting motionless on the lake bed. The purity of this place once led many to believe it was an almost perfect ecosystem. However, in 2025, an outbreak of a rare virus forced the lake's fish farm to destroy approximately 200,000 trout, revealing that even environments that appear untouched are not exempt from nature's fragility. That contrast becomes even stranger when one considers that only a few miles away lies Mythos, where a massive explosion in 1947 blasted apart a mountainside and altered an entire valley. Nearly a century later, thousands of tons of unexploded munitions still force people to confront the legacy of the past, beneath the crystal-clear waters reflecting their surreal blue color. Another story continues to exist quietly, where peaceful beauty and traces of unease remain side by side. Blazy is a reminder that sometimes the most tranquil places are the ones hiding the most stories beneath the surface. Stretching across the heart of the Swiss Alps is a colossal glacier powerful enough to shape entire mountains. From above, a lech appears as an endless river of ice, carrying the weight of thousands of years of history as it slowly moves through time. A lech is the largest glacier in the entire Alps, extending nearly 14 miles and storing billions of tons of ancient ice. At Concordiaplatz, the ice reaches a thickness of nearly 3,100 feet deep, enough to swallow more than 2 Empire State Buildings stacked on top of one another. Yet life persists in a place that seems impossible to inhabit. Scientists have discovered glacier fleas and microscopic organisms living on the dark cryoconite dust scattered across the ice surface. Along the glacier's edge stands the ancient Aletsch forest, where stone pine trees have survived for nearly 1,000 years. For centuries, people have lived under the shadow of this frozen giant. Around 1650, villagers erected sacred crosses out of fear that the advancing glacier would consume their pastures. Today, that threat has reversed. Rising temperatures are causing the ice to disappear rapidly, with some areas losing nearly 15 feet of thickness in a single summer. This massive ice contains enough fresh water for every person on Earth to receive 1 liter of water per day for more than 3 years. Yet this enormous treasure is vanishing faster than scientists once predicted. Aletsch is a reminder that even the greatest wonders on Earth can quietly disappear. first glance, they seem like places that do not belong to this world. But perhaps that is exactly what makes them remind us that Earth still holds things beyond imagination, still waiting to be discovered.